Okay, so Secretary Ortega, welcome. This is our 30th annual conference on integrated learning. I did give a brief introduction for you, and so if you're ready, we're ready.
I am, Lee, and let me begin by apologizing for the time. Obviously, a lot going on in the background with regards to the day after an election where we had a lot of activity, both in Pennsylvania and around the country. So my apologies. There's just been a lot happening, and I wanted to make sure that I joined on time, and yet I missed the window by 10 minutes. So let me just begin with an apology for that. And then a thank you for the invitation to come and sort of welcome everybody, or re-welcome for the purposes of not stepping on what Dr. Burkett has already done. So good morning to everyone joining us here this morning, and hello to those of you watching the video sometime in the near future, since this is being recorded. I am Secretary of Education Noe Ortega, and I'm pleased to welcome you to the conference on integrated learning with this year's theme, the School to Career Connection. So let me kick off my remarks as I always feel compelled to do, which is just with a simple but genuine thank you. Thank you to everyone for what you've done the past couple of years, what you've done even before the pandemic. Past 2 years have been incredibly challenging for our community, schools, educators, students, and our parents. But while these difficulties that you face cannot be overstated, neither can your efforts. You are resilient. And the department will like to acknowledge that resiliency and make it known to all every time we're having the opportunity to speak about our educational community. We at PDE are so appreciative of all that you did and continue to do to help your teachers and students navigate what many have become to call the new normal. But because of your efforts, you've been able to get students back in the classroom for in-person learning. And that's exactly where our students need to be. And that is what we've been saying, what the administration has been saying, and the narrative that you've heard play out nationally around the importance of in-person learning. We know that in-person learning is what's best for educational, social, and emotional outcomes, which is why we elevate it as it's being important. And we know that we have to put in the work this year to address any learning loss, or as I prefer to call it, mislearning, because this is exactly what happened because of the disruptions of the pandemics that students have experienced since the onset of the global pandemic. I have the utmost faith in your ability to overcome our continued challenges, from learning loss to shortages to mislearning, but also the things that we're seeing happening around staffing, our educator workforce, right? We've got food challenges as well in terms of shortages, and obviously the supply chain is certainly not discriminating against education because it's affecting our transportation and delivery, etc. But what I know is that we're going to get through this in the same way that we've gotten through the past 18 months now. But I've had so many folks come to me in different circumstances say that they wish that we'd return to a normal or a new normal, but I don't necessarily see it that way. I think this experience has helped us to see more clearly the needs that our students and educators have. Needs that were neglected for too long and were laid bare during the pandemic. We now have an opportunity to recalibrate and remake systems in the way that better serve all learners, no matter how old they are, where they live, or what they look like. One way we can better serve learners and the workforce as a whole is to ensure equity and access to resources, networks, skill development, and career pathway. This is the work that you all are already doing and have been doing for some time now. And I think we need to acknowledge and elevate that even further. But now more than ever, we see the need to champion and elevate your efforts more so. In a time of supply chain disruption, struggling workforce, it's easy to view these obstacles as challenges. However, I prefer to think of them as opportunities. We have the opportunity to engage young learners through early exposure to career pathways, right? We have the opportunity to forge partnerships with industry professionals who can help create touch points for students as they navigate their K-12 experience and beyond. We have an opportunity to more closely align ourselves with guidance counselors who can help students decide which pathway they want to take when they're done with secondary. We have an opportunity to create a strong, robust workforce of the future filled with workers who not only have well-developed skill sets, but also have passion that many of our workforce is asking for. And most importantly, we have an opportunity to provide Pennsylvanians with access to meaningful, family-sustaining careers. And all of those opportunities start right here, right now, with us and all of you joining us virtually or in the virtual room, as some of us would prefer to say it today. The efforts you have undertaken have made a profound impact thus far. I've been traveling around the Commonwealth, even amid the pandemic, and visited a number of places. Most recently, in the past couple of weeks, we went to Wilkes-Barre High School, McKinley Elementary School, where we read to young kids on the importance of hygiene and being aware of others. We visit Waverly Elementary School as well. But I also recently visited McDowell Manufacturing in Erie. What an impressive program that helps students learn about and perform different job functions in manufacturing. They develop essential and lifelong skills. They utilize advanced manufacturing technologies and build relationships with local companies. I met amazing young learners who were developing products and processes that were high tech. Think robots and software programs, in fact, and needed by companies in their local area. So they were just not learning with technology, but they were meeting a demand locally as well, which is a really impressive way to look at the role that career tech centers play, or career tech education in general, in building, rebuilding communities. It provided me with a firsthand look at all the great work our students are doing as they learn skills and apply them to the real world as well. One thing is for sure, and my visit to McDowell made this crystal clear: career and technical education has certainly transformed over the years in ways that many of us who are not part of the industry or have not been working close with these programs can't even imagine. And at the state level, it's critical that we continue to invest in our students and all of the possible pathways they make or they create after graduation. There are more than 80 career and technical education centers across Pennsylvania, as all of you know, and that offer dozens of state-approved programs to thousands of students. These innovative programs, they're built on foundations of academic rigor and high expectations for students' learning and their success. And they range anywhere from architecture to agriculture to engineering to robotics and beyond. So obviously there isn't a one-size-fits-all post-secondary path for every student. So it's critical for them to be prepared for success on whatever path they choose to take after graduating, whether they enter the workforce, join the military, or continue the education. I think what's important when we think about post-secondary pathways is that folks have choice, and the choice that fits them and the right time and the right opportunities for them. Career and technical educations, we know, help students develop critical skills through a combination of classes and hands-on learning experiences, which allow them to apply academics to real-world problems. Just think about that. Technically, that's what all education should be, thinking about real-world applications from theories and academic challenges as well. And career and tech educational centers have been doing that. We know that career tech education has benefits that go further than simply teaching students for future jobs. These programs also improve graduation rates. They reach at-risk students. They create stronger ties to surrounding communities. They reduce behavioral issues, and they increase engagement of students with the community, with teachers, with each other, in fact. What's more, career and technical education creates well-rounded students that companies will want to hire by providing them with the technical skills, academic skills, employability skills that they all need. These jobs are high skill, high wage, and importantly, they are high demand. So on behalf of the Department of Education, on behalf of the students of Pennsylvania, the parents, the families, thank you tremendously, each of you today, for the efforts that you've done. Thank you for the partnership that you've done with the department. Dr. Burkett and her team continue to advocate on your behalf. But I also want to thank you for the advocacy you've done to represent the community as well, and for being here with us today. I'm excited to see where the future will take us in this field, but also I'm excited for you and all the opportunities that Dr. Burkett was already outlining that you could enjoy this week. And so with that, Dr. Burkett, let me hand the virtual mic back to you. And again, thank you for the opportunity to be here.